Good morning, children. Children, in the previous class, we tried to understand about the freedom struggle in Hyderabad state, and I made it very clear that the entire country got independence on August 15th, 1947, whereas Hyderabad state did not get independence in 1947. We achieved independence in 1948, 1 year after the actual independence, because we were under the rule of Nizam, and Nizam got surrendered to the Indian Union only in 1948. Later, Hyderabad state got merged into Indian Union, and we became part and parcel of India. So, this long struggle, we were trying to understand how the Nizam ruled this Hyderabad state, what policies were followed, and what was the freedom struggle that has taken place in the state in order to get it merged into the Indian Union, whether Nizam was in favor of merging into Indian Union or not. So these kind of things we need to understand. If you look at many things that have, many events that have taken place in this freedom struggle, we have come with the establishment of Hyderabad State Congress. The people like Aghoranatha Chattopadhyaya was considered as a initiator of the establishment of Congress in the Hyderabad state. Later, many people have conducted campaigns, and out of them, the people like Mullah Abdul Qayyum was also championed the campaigns, and followed by people like Swami Ramananda Tirtha. So these people played a very important role in the establishment of Congress wing or Congress branch in Hyderabad state, and in arousing the national consciousness among the people. So today we shall see about the Andhra Mahasabha, which got established. Andhra Janasangam, actually it is a library movement which took place in Hyderabad state in the early 20th century. A large number of books were printed in Telugu, because Nizam state consists of different language speaking people. It consists of Deccani Urdu speaking people. Many Urdu medium schools were there. If you have old people at your home, okay, elderly people, you can ask them. Under the Nizam, we had Urdu medium school, and Kannada speaking people were there, and even Marathi speaking people were there, and Telugu speaking people were there. But in our text, we were trying to understand about these Urdu speaking and Telugu speaking people movement, because those parts got joined into Karnataka. Kannada speaking people went into Karnataka, Marathi speaking people went into Maharashtra. So the Telugu speaking and Urdu speaking people are present in the present Telangana state. So that movement we were trying to understand. So a large number of books were printed in Telugu in Andhra region and circulated through libraries. It's not in Telangana, in Hyderabad state. These got printed in the regions of Andhra. Andhra region was directly under the control of the Britisher. So there they circulated many books. So they had set up in Telangana towns, many libraries were set up in Telangana towns and in villages. In 1901, in Sri Krishna Devaraya Andhra Bhasha Nilayam was established in Hyderabad by Komarraju Lakshman Rao along with Nayani Venkata Rao and Ravichettu Rangarao. These three people together, they had established one language library, Telugu language library, by name called as Sri Krishna Devaraya Andhra Bhasha Nilayam. Even today also it is present, children. So which continues even to this day. However, Telugu remained as a discriminated language in Hyderabad state. It was in 1921 in a meeting in Vivekavardhani College in Hyderabad. A person was insulted for speaking in Telugu, for bringing up a resolution in Telugu, and rather they suggested him to speak either in English or in Urdu. So Telugu speaking people felt greatly offended or insulted by this activity. So they fought for the rightful place of Telugu in the state. During this period, there was also a linguistic debate. Linguistic language debate was also conducted, entered into the Hyderabad in the nationalistic discourse. Along with the freedom movement, they also fought for the due place for Telugu in the state. So it was in 1924 that Madapati Hanumanta Rao and others formed a association called as Andhra Janasangam. This is a very important Sangam, children. Andhra Janasangam it is. So this is a very important institute. Later it got converted into Andhra Mahasabha. That's another one. But first, Madapati Hanumantarao has established this institution, Andhra Jana Sangham. This encouraged the reading rooms in the villages, the establishment of libraries, encouraged students and scholars. They collected and circulated Telugu manuscripts to promote the Telugu literature. They published many books, small booklets which they can be held, and they also conducted meetings in the villages to set up libraries to encourage the students. And some of these booklets spoke of the problems faced by the small traders, peasants, and even by the laborers and the poor people. They also set up 4,000 schools, and many of which had been closed by the Nizam. But nevertheless, all these schools were Telugu medium schools, children. Okay. And you know, AVV college in Warangal, opposite to the Jimny Theatre, AVV, Andhra Vidyabhivardhini. Recently, it has celebrated 50 years. Hope you know it. So, these were the colleges which were established in order to promote the Telugu as a medium of instruction. Because Urdu medium schools were there and Telugu is neglected. In order to build movement for the Telugu language, so they started establishing schools. So, the movement grew momentum as more and more people, women, students, singers, etc. participated in it, and later it got transformed as a Andhra Mahasabha. The leaders of various sections decided to unite. They wanted to get united in order to fight against the Nizam. So different sections have united, and thus they created another association called as Andhra Mahasabha. Andhra Mahasabha. So the Jana Sangham along with other associations got transformed as Andhra Mahasabha, and hereafter it is called as AMS, Andhra Mahasabha. This is a powerful association which also helped in the outbreak of the Telangana struggle, Telangana armed struggle against the Nizam. The leaders of various sections got united under Andhra Mahasabha, which got formed in 1930. This got formed in 1924, but whereas Andhra Jana Sangham got formed in 1924, in 1930 Andhra Mahasabha got formed. So its founders were same Madapati Hanumantarao, Ravi Narayan Reddy. Its initial objectives were creation of educational facilities. They submitted many appeals and prayers to the government seeking establishment of schools and readdressing the grievances of the poor peasants. In its annual conference in 1935, there were some demands which were identified. Those demands were compulsory primary education should be implemented, okay, for all the people. Compulsory primary education should be given, and mother tongue Telugu should be the medium of instruction. This is a prime demand in order to keep the Telugu as a most favored language. And the legitimate rights of the people in Jagirs, legitimate in the sense the legal rights of the people in the Jagirs, that mean in the areas which were given to the Jagirdars must be protected. Child marriages should be discouraged. Okay, there were child marriages in the state, so those should be discouraged. Local self-government should be introduced, and even untouchability should be completely eradicated, and untouchables should be given due place in the society. These were certain demands which were identified in 1935 meeting conducted by Andhra Mahasabha. So you can see that they combined both social reforms were there, and as well as educational reforms were identified by these people. They spread their activities very rapidly all over Telangana, and libraries and cultural centers were established in order to promote the activities and the events of the Andhra Mahasabha, and even to the remotest villages they have reached. Peasants and laboring people, they came together and learned. They helped them to learn, read, listen to the news from a newspaper. There will be a reader, and they all will sit together and they keep on listening to those news, what's happening around them. So with that, the Nizam government's atrocities and the Doras, what we call the Doras excess against to these poor people, they came to an understanding of all these things by reading the newspapers. And there are many other activities even. The night classes and discussions were held in these libraries, and people read books written by social reformers like Veerashalingam Pantulu, which discouraged the child marriages and which encouraged the widow remarriages. And even the nationalist leaders like Gandhiji, Nehru also wrote in the newspapers. Those articles were read, and they also wrote new books on local problems. As editor of Golconda Patrika, Sri Suravaram Pratapareddy inspired nationalistic fervor amongst the people, and Kaloji, Narayan Rao, Dasharathy Krishnamacharya, Dasharathy Rangacharyalu are some of the literary luminaries who fought for the freedom of Hyderabad state. These all were present here. And as more and more people joined the movement, they began to expect their issues to be taken up by the Andhra Mahasabha along with education. The Nizam government also subjected these centers to a lot of harassment because night schools were conducted, and these all were against to the Nizam government. So many of them were harassed. By 1940, many communists have joined this Andhra Mahasabha, and they insisted on taking up demands of the rural people like Vetti. So unpaid labor, the problem was present in Hyderabad state. So the oppression of the Doras was taken up by these communists. Some of the old leaders of Andhra Mahasabha disagreed and wanted it to discontinue, to continue as education and literary forum, but not as a social forum, and they got divided with the opinion. And later Andhra Mahasabha also, because of the communist leadership, also started up an armed struggle against the Nizam. So in the next class we shall see about the Hyderabad State Congress, children. Thank you.